I'm deeply passionate about dyslexia because I live with it every day. That lived experience fuels my commitment to changing the story around it, breaking down stigma and inspiring understanding. But the world of the royal family is no stranger to controversy, and once again, it's in the spotlight. This time, Princess Beatrice finds herself at the heart of a storm. In a raw and emotional moment, she broke down in tears, revealing something shocking about her father, Prince Andrew, something that left even those closest to her stunned, and shook the public's perception far deeper than anyone expected. What did she say that's causing such a stir? The truth behind Princess Beatrice's emotional confession is heartbreaking. And the reality is far worse than anyone imagined. Since her birth in 1988, Beatrice has lived under the relentless gaze of public scrutiny, while as the eldest child of Prince Andrew and seventh in line to the throne, royal duties and appearances have been a constant, yet she's always been different. A princess not confined by tradition or royal protocol. From a young age, Beatrice showed a desire to explore beyond palace walls and forge her own path. Unlike many royals who were sent off to exclusive boarding schools, she began her education more traditionally at St. George's School in Ascot, then pursued history at Goldsmiths University in London. She deliberately sought experiences outside the royal bubble, turning at Sony Pictures to understand the entertainment world and working in finance and business development. For Beatrice, building a professional identity was just as important. Not more than maintaining her royal title, her move to New York marked another bold step away from the royal spotlight. She lived quietly under the name Beatrice York, blending into the city's hustle without the celebrity fanfare. Instead of living as a royal celebrity, she nurtured genuine friendships and developed skills away from the glare of cameras breaking royal conventions. Even her charity work reflected her authentic self-choosing causes like education, dyslexia awareness, and mental health, where her involvement was heartfelt and personal. She wasn't there just for photos, spoke from experience and listened. With empathy, her personal life mirrored this pursuit of authenticity. Unlike many royals whose relationships are tabloid fodder, Beatrice sought privacy and normalcy. Her journey reveals a princess who refuses to be boxed in by expectations, fighting not just for herself, but for those whose stories often go unheard. Through her emotional revelations, we see a powerful call to change the narrative not only about her family, but about resilience, identity, and the courage to be real. This is the story of a special kind of princess. One who chooses vulnerability over perfection and truth over silence. Princess Beatrice managed to keep her early romance with property developer Edoardo Mapelli Mazzi private, defying the usual royal spotlight. Their wedding in 2020, held during the pandemic, was a quiet and intimate affair, a stark contrast to the grand, globally televised royal weddings of the past. Only close family and friends attended, and the couple shared just a few official photos, embracing privacy over publicity. When she welcomed her daughter in 2021, the announcement was warm but low-key, reflecting Beatrice's clear desire to protect her family from the relentless scrutiny that often shadows royal life. Although Beatrice did not shy away from her royal duties, entirely attending family gatherings, weddings, and christenings, her professional, personal, and philanthropic choices clearly demonstrated that she sought more than a title. She quietly redefined what it means to be a modern princess. Balancing tradition with independence, she embraced her heritage without being confined by it. Forging a life that felt relatable to many, someone who works, pays her own bills, and understands life beyond privilege. In a royal family, often criticized for being out of touch, Beatrice's approach made her a rare figure of credibility and authenticity. For years, it seemed she had successfully navigated this delicate balance. But the fragility of that balance became painfully clear when a family crisis erupted in 2019. The scandal that rocked her world began with the arrest of Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced American financier charged with sex trafficking minors. As Epstein's connections to powerful figures were exposed, Prince Andrew's name surfaced, thrusting the royal family into a storm of media frenzy and public outrage. The situation worsened after Prince Andrew's disastrous BBC interview in November 2019, intended to quell controversy, but instead deepening public scorn with flippant and insensitive remarks. The legal troubles followed, the 2022 U.S. court rejecting his attempt to dismiss a civil lawsuit, accusing him of serious misconduct. The court ruling sent shockwaves, shattering any illusion that privilege could shield him from accountability. Behind the headlines, Princess Beatrice found herself trapped in the turmoil. The life she had built with such care suddenly felt impossible to protect. Public appearances became more tense, and every new legal or media development shook the foundation of her carefully crafted balance. This was not just a battle of public image, but a profound struggle of loyalty, identity, and survival. The emotional toll was immense. The scandal wasn't hers, yet it overshadowed all she had achieved. No matter how she tried to separate herself, the storm followed relentlessly. Each legal document and headline felt like a blow to the world she had fought to create, leaving her to face the agonizing question: how long could silence hold the walls together before everything came crashing down? In the months following the scandal, Beatrice endured the weight of accusations and rumors, many unfounded and unfair, linked solely by her family ties. Growing up in the glare of royal scrutiny prepared her for public attention, but this crisis was different, tainted by criminal allegations and deep global outrage. Her instinct was silence, understanding that any words could be twisted, weaponized by a merciless press. Every defense her father made seemed only to fuel outrage. Speaking out risked being seen as defending him. Distancing herself risked accusations of disloyalty. There was no safe place for Beatrice in this storm. The uncertainty was crushing. The allegations against her father sprawling and tied to a dark, tragic legacy that continued to haunt the family. Through it all, Princess Beatrice's strength and vulnerability revealed the human cost behind royal headlines, a story of resilience, heartbreak, and the desperate search for peace amid chaos. Princess Beatrice wasn't just waiting for the bad press to blow over. She was caught in a relentless storm with no clear escape. What began as family loyalty quickly shifted into a fight for self-preservation. Every step she took, every silence she held, was a careful calculation. She realized she could no longer control the narrative about her father, Prince Andrew, but maybe, just maybe, she could still shape her own story. But how could she protect herself when the scandal had seeped into every corner of her life, threatening to consume her? Then came the shocking revelation that no one expected. When whispers of a private letter from Princess Beatrice to a close friend started circulating, the public was skeptical. Could the fiercely private princess really have put her deepest feelings into words? But as parts of the letter emerged in the press, the truth was undeniable. It was hers. The letter, intended to be private, became explosive once public, revealing raw emotion and vulnerability that royal protocol often suppresses. For years, Beatrice had kept her silence in public, never contradicting her father or hinting at doubt. But the letter showed the heavy cost of that silence, painted a picture of a woman trapped by the very institution. She was born into yearning to speak freely, yet bound by duty and restraint. The emotions in her words couldn't be faked: heartbreak, frustration, fear, and love, all intertwined. She confessed how devastated she was by the scandal's impact on her family, knowing the wounds might never fully heal. The allegations against her father weren't just damaging, they threatened to imprison him, casting a shadow over her entire family's name. What once was a name she carried with pride had become a burden, twisted by others into a weapon that pulled her into a mudheap she had no part in making. The letter revealed the unbearable tension she felt, torn between respecting the victims and standing by her father. Beatrice expressed fear for not only her father's legacy, but also for her own future and that of her children. Royal titles, once meant to shield, now felt like targets. She worried she might never again enter a room without being silently judged for the stain of his actions, yet amid the pain was an unbreakable loyalty. She still saw her father as the man who raised her, not just the man vilified by the headlines. She praised her sister Eugenie's unwavering public support, recognizing how Eugenie bravely stood by their father in moments when Beatrice felt more conflicted. This letter showed that Beatrice's love for her father was real, even as she wrestled with the consequences of his choices, and the letter leaked to the press. It sparked a media frenzy. The palace stayed silent, but tabloids eagerly dissected every word. Some labeled the letter a betrayal wrapped in grief. Others saw it as an act of courage, the first time a senior royal publicly acknowledged the personal toll the Epstein scandal had inflicted on their family. As the letters spread, one question loomed: if Beatrice was on the verge of breaking, what would happen when the royal family's patience finally ran out on Prince Andrew? When the Epstein scandal spiraled beyond control, Buckingham Palace's protective walls didn't just close, they crumbled around Prince Andrew's once untouchable status. For decades he had lived sheltered by privilege and power, but that shelter was gone, and the consequences were devastating. The royal family faced a reckoning, and Princess Beatrice's journey through this storm revealed the heartbreaking cost of loyalty, love, and survival in the most unforgiving spotlight imaginable. Prince Andrew's fall from grace wasn't just a loss of titles, it was the collapse of a lifetime of royal privilege. Once known for his military honors, ceremonial roles, and the unmistakable title of His Royal Highness, everything began to unravel with shocking speed in early 2022. The Queen's unexpected summons to Windsor Castle marked a turning point. Andrew entered as a prince and left stripped of his military roles, royal patronages, and the right to use his HRH title officially. This dramatic move sent shockwaves through the family and the public alike. The Queen's decisive action was meant to protect the monarchy's fragile reputation. Distancing the crown from Andrew's scandal, while it saved face for the institution, it broke Andrew personally. The monarchy had been his identity for decades, and now that foundation was ripped away. The consequences rippled beyond the palace walls. Corporate sponsors pulled support from charities linked to him. Universities reconsidered their partnerships, and whispers spread about how he would finance his costly legal battles. Reports even surfaced about him selling private properties, highlighting the financial strain that replaced his once untouchable status in elite circles. More profoundly, Andrew's scandal created an invisible divide between him and the future of the monarchy. Prince Charles was determined to streamline the royal family's public roles, a plan that left no place for Andrew. Prince William aligned with this vision, understanding that public trust was delicate and the monarchy couldn't risk further damage. Andrew's downfall was not just his own, it reshaped the entire royal family's trajectory. Inside Buckingham Palace, this crisis forced a reckoning the monarchy had long avoided. With secrecy fading and public demand for accountability growing, the royal family faced a new reality. The long-discussed plan for a slimmer, more modern monarchy suddenly became urgent. Every working royal had to justify their role through visible service, maintaining an image that could endure relentless media scrutiny. This meant fewer public roles for extended family members and a sharp focus on the direct line of succession. Charles, William, and George, even stalwarts like Princess Anne, took on heavier workloads to fill the void Andrew left. The grandeur of an older royal era was fading, replaced by a more controlled and efficient institution. This transformation wasn't without its tensions. The Queen's loyalty to family clashed painfully with the need to protect the crown by distancing her own son. The fractured relationship between William and Harry made projecting unity harder, while Charles's focus on optics sometimes conflicted with traditional family values held by older royals. Yet, the message was clear. The monarchy's survival came before sentiment. No royal, no matter their bloodline, was immune from consequences if their actions threatened the institution. For Andrew's daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, the fallout hit deeply personal. As the Queen's favored son, but now faced the harsh reality that public opinion could exile a family member long before official actions did. Every public appearance or charity event carried the unspoken question, should they stand by him? Even Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, stepped into a rare role as Andrew's defender, despite their divorce refusing to abandon him publicly. Her loyalty was a powerful statement in a time of isolation. Within the royal family, Andrew's exile was a stark warning. If the Queen could strip her own son of titles and duties, then no one was untouchable. For younger royals, the lesson was chilling. The institution will always protect itself first. And for the York family, this wasn't just about public scandal, it was about living with a ghost that never truly fades. Every holiday gathering and family event now carried the weight of unspoken tension, a constant reminder of the scars left behind. What are your thoughts on Princess Beatrice's emotional announcement and the royal family's decision to distance themselves from Prince Andrew? Do you believe the monarchy acted rightly in protecting its legacy? Share your views in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful stories. Be sure to click on the next video on your screen to continue exploring the latest royal updates.